Let's go back to the very beginning. When the Ohio River was first founded, it was a clean, flourishing environment. The river stretches over 981 miles, flowing from western Pennsylvania to the southern tip of Illinois. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, an agency dedicated to the management of fish and wildlife across the country, reported it encompassed a plethora of wildlife, such as deer, raccoons, cotton-tailed rabbits, and the red fox, as well as over 100 different species of fish in the depths of the river. It was a peaceful sanctuary. Over the years, it has become more than just a dwelling for wildlife, but a home for our businesses and other establishments. However, it was after these were built along the Ohio River bank that the number of wildlife dropped and that serene environment was lost. In 1958, according to an article for Environmental Health News, the Ohio River's history of contamination in progress stated, researchers from the University of Louisville and the Ohio River Valley Water Sanitation Commission gathered at a lock at the Monongahela River for routine collecting, counting, and comparing of fish species. On this particular day, the researchers opened the chamber to find one fish inside. One fish. Those same businesses that were built along the riverbank were pumping out their waste into the river. In the same article, the study done from the University of Louisville and the Ohio River Valley Water Sanitation Commission found vinegar in the Ohio River. The researchers claimed they could see it, smell it, and taste it. Sadly, vinegar wasn't the only pollutant. OEC.org, the website for the Ohio Environmental Council, which is a group that secures the health of air, water, and land in the state of Ohio, says that crops, livestock, poultry, dairy products, orchards, and other agricultural product pollutants encompass nearly 35% of the Ohio River basin. Nutrient pollutants are large contributors to the now dirtied, unhealthy Ohio River. Industrial contaminants have also been found in several stretches along the river. Cincinnati.com, a website that gives the rundown on current events happening in Cincinnati, including environmental changes, says that perfluorotonic acid, or PFOA, also known as the forever chemical, has been detected. ScientificAmerican.com, which gives updates on science discoveries across the country and stories related to science in the U.S., says that PFOA gained this label because its chemistry keeps it from breaking down under typical environmental conditions. With such a buildup of chemicals and other pollution, the Ohio River has also gained a label, the third most dirty river in the country, according to freedrinkingwater.com, which is the main site for APEC Water Filtration Systems, whom works in and around Ohio. This was a title Ohioans were not proud to see. What does this mean for the wildlife living in the river? Well, when these pollutants enter the Ohio River and build and accumulate over time, they reach the level of being toxic. There are only so many species of fish in the Ohio River that are tolerant to the levels of toxicity, meaning that the multitude of species that are intolerant are dying off, as said in the website newscientist.com, a website that provides updated science discoveries and scientific facts. For the few species that are tolerant, they certainly aren't safe to eat. The Ohio news station WKMS states that some species carry a poisonous chemical known as mercury, which can put people at risk of numerous health consequences. The radio station interviewed business owners whose poisoned fish were harming their business in and around Ohio. With this posing such a threat to the wildlife and people who were consuming the water and its resources, something had to be done about it. In hopes of changing the state of not just the Ohio River, but rivers across the country, the Clean Water Act was enacted. EPA.gov, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, says the act was significantly organized and expanded in 1972. It has aided in the much-needed cleanup of the water since it was formed. The Clean Water Act has been regulating the pollutants entering the Ohio River and kept much of them out. It is slowly growing safer for the public to use and for wildlife to flourish. Another aid in the Ohio River is the Ohio River Valley Sanitation Commission, or ORSENCO. According to clevescene.com, which reports the highlights happening in the Cleveland area, says that the agency has been around for nearly 60 years and is made up of commissioners from 8 states, including Ohio. It also regulates the pollution that is dumped into the river by setting limits for each business or contributor to the pollution. In 2019, the organization fought to focus its efforts on monitoring and spill response. In addition to help from the Clean Water Act and ORSENCO, community groups have been made from posted ads for volunteer opportunities across the state that participate in cleanup sessions. For example, ORSENCO.org, the official website for ORSENCO, posted volunteer opportunities for the Ohio River Sweep in 2021. This sweep is an annual event where volunteers remove and clear pollution and litter in the river. This gathers volunteers from the 6 states that border the river. The group Living Lands and Water has removed over 10 million pounds of trash from the Ohio River with the help of over 115,000 volunteers, according to their main website. Their main website also states that the group has cleanup events every year from August to November on Thursdays through Saturdays, and the group holds 2 cleanup sessions per day. Outside of cleanup events being held, there are groups fighting for stricter regulations on the river. In February of this year, WKSU, a public radio station for Northeast Ohio, reported activists petitioned for the Environmental Protection Agency to clean up the river. This petition called for federally mandated numeric water quality standards. The activists say that standard would reduce the amount of nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus that are discharged into the Ohio River. These harmful nutrients make the water almost undrinkable, while also polluting it. It is groups like these that communicate the dire state of the river to the public with their ads, and they also provide opportunities to get involved to improve the river's state. There is definitely still a ways to go before the river can obtain the title of clean, but the community is making small strides. Hopefully in the coming years, it will start to share a resemblance to its early days when it was filled with pure wilderness and healthy wildlife.